This is the 20th season of Bass Talk Live. BTL is presented by Bass Cat Boats, Strike King Lures, AFTCO, Pro Guide Batteries, Spro, Gamakatsu, The Bass Tank, Denali Rods, Beatdown Outdoors, and Sunline.
BTL coming at you.
Good morning and welcome to another exciting edition of BTL Bass Talk Live, where we are going to talk bass fishing. Obviously, we're in a different set here. If you remember last year, we were live from the Omnia Fishing headquarters in Minnesota. I always forget the name of the city.
Golden Valley, Minnesota. We're here with
former Bassmaster Classic qualifier. It was Grand Lake, right?
It was Grand
Lake. So we're returning to Grand Lake, the host place where you fished in the Bassmaster Classic, and now you do pretty much everything for Omnia right now. A bunch of stuff for Omnia.
Yeah, I handle a lot of our marketing campaigns, our sponsorships, our partnerships, a lot of that sort of stuff. Our pro staff. But yeah, super excited to see it go back to Grand. Obviously, I'd love to go and get some revenge on the lake at some point in time, but I think conditions are going to be a little different this time around than when we saw it back in 2016.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. Guys, this was probably one of the most interesting weeks in the 15 years that I've covered professional bass fishing full time. I'm sure the guys at Omnia Fishing here, literally we're in their studio now, right on the other side of this wall. I'll have some stuff on social media on my Instagram account following it, but you guys have literally tens of thousands of different baits and rods and reels, and it is your job at Omnia to keep kind of a pulse on what is going on in the industry. I know we were just talking. Pete was over in Japan. Doing a bunch of stuff, a bunch of reconnaissance work. He's a little bit under the weather today, so no Polish Pete. We do have a special guest in the second half of the show, Luke Lo, who used to do all the social stuff for Omnia, now transitioned over to Rapala, which is very interesting because of they're making some big moves over there at Rapala too.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems that Crush City can't be talked about enough this year. So we'll have Luke jump on. He's got a little special.
Yeah. So if you remember last year when we were in studio, I was here for the Dick Hiley St. Jude Bass Classic, the 25th edition of that, which raised over $1 million to help St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And we had a little bit of a bet between myself and Adam Bartu. Well, I would say Adam Bartuzik and myself, because I was the passenger princess in that tournament, just along for the ride. And then Luke Lowe, and who was he fishing with?
I believe he's fishing with his uncle or something like
that. Okay. And so whoever had the most weight in that won. So like if I beat Luke, he would have to do, and this was your idea, the one chip challenge, which coincidentally had just been taken off the market at the time.
That's correct.
But you guys were able to get your hands on one. We beat him in the tournament. And then Luke, clearly because he didn't want to eat the chip, decided to go to Rapala.
Correct.
You guys still have a good relationship. He's back in studio. So we're going to kill two birds with one stone. I'm trying to debate on whether we want to talk to him first about Rapala and what's going on over there, or we want him to eat the chip and then try to talk.
I'm in favor of the latter. I think that's going to be a little bit more entertaining, especially for your audience on the show. But I'm open to either way. I think it'll be a good time.
Now, you did get him a full gallon of milk, but a little bit hateful. You got fat-free skim milk. So that's going to basically taste like water to him.
Well, I just wanted to be conscious.
He is in very good shape. He's about 3% body fat. I guess that's what happens when you play D1 ball for the Gophers.
Correct. Yeah, we've obviously I have an 18-month-old at home, so we're fully stocked with whole milk all the time. And I thought about just bringing a gallon of that, but I was like, Luke's kind of health conscious, so let me go run and get him some skim milk.
It is. We're going to talk a lot about what's going on at Omnia, some of the crazy promotions that we have. We're going to talk about right now the electronics arms race that is going on in the industry. We got to talk about what went down in the tournaments this weekend. So there were three major tournaments. I still can't say his first name correctly. Koya.
So I've always been under the impression that it's Kyoya.
See, I just say Koya.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the way it's spelled, you think of like the cities in Japan: Tokyo, Kyoto.
Okay.
It's spelled the same way. So my understanding it's Kyo-ya, but
Kyo-ya,
I could
well,
be wrong.
He's just going to be called Champ from now
Champ,
on because
correct.
he's got 2 Elite Series wins under his belt. It's real interesting. You know, there's some guys that are ahead of the curve on this, and Brandon Polinick was one of those guys. He had him on his channel, 4 years ago now?
Yeah.
When he was trying to come over, and he was the next, or he was the big thing going in Japan. And dude, the guys come over, and I was actually parked next to him at the Bassmaster Open last week or 2 weeks ago now, at Lake Washita. And his stuff is so clean. It's so dialed. He's got that big screen up front with 216s underneath it.
Yeah.
I've met him one time, had to use the translator. We actually ate a hot dog together at one of the registrations, and Sego, who's one of the top bass photographers, was there. And I said, dude, I want to meet this kid. So I went over and talked to him, and man, he's like, probably 5'5", 5'6", maybe 105 pounds soaking wet, and just incredibly talented. So we're going to definitely hear more from him for the next 20 years. Yeah. I called it, I think 3 years ago. I said, this guy's going to open a lot of eyes and revolutionize the way tournament fishing is done.
Yeah, he is the most, and I mean this with all respect, the most unintimidating person you'll probably ever see on the face of this planet, but he is an absolute assassin when it comes to catching bass. So. Yeah,
and I think it's also interesting now that he's won 2, and obviously with Bass Live and the great coverage that Bassmaster does, we have we kind of know what he was throwing, and we're going to dive into that. You actually have some of those products that are here at Omnia, some really unique stuff, but there's a real legit language barrier with him. It's not like a Marizo deal or a talk deal where when they catch him, they just are like, oh yeah, no, I don't understand the question you're asking. And then you talk to him afterwards and they're like, hey, what's up, man? And you're like, you just didn't want to give the goods. So like there is a bunch that is locked in this guy's head.
For sure.
And in a information era where everything is on the table and it's impossible to keep secrets, like what's going on in this guy's head, he's going to be able to keep some stuff under the table, I feel, for a lot. You know, we talked to Drew Gill, and I was shocked at how much of an open book he was 2 weeks ago on BTO when he talked about the forward facing technology and that. But it'll be real interesting to see where this goes. I think all 10 of the top 10 were primarily, I guess, what are we calling it? Damiki rigging. What do you guys call it up here? There's like 15 different names.
Yeah,
for it.
Mid strolling is kind of the terminology they use back in Japan. Hover strolling, but essentially, you know, you're dangling a minnow in front of a bass.
And I never thought. So you guys do tackle, but there's like, it's hard to get your hands on this stuff regardless of where you're looking, because I'm looking for tournaments. I actually for Washita, I was like, man, I need some more of these specific jig heads. And you guys were the only ones that had them overnighted to using the Omnia Premium Pro, ordered them on a Sunday. Monday morning, it said, hey, your jig heads are on the way. Yeah. Followed it where it was in Memphis. And then Wednesday morning, they were on the doorstep. But dude, regardless of where you're looking, like I never thought in my life that the hardest thing to find would be a crappie jig.
Sure. And that's absolutely correct. I mean, it's challenging. A lot of these brands are, you know, Japanese JDM baits. So, you know, with supply chain and just trying to keep all that in inventory, it's challenging because, you know, when it gets here, everybody, you know, if you set up your in-stock alerts, if you're a pro member with Omnia, you get alerted before the public knows about it. You get like a 4-hour head start. So, you know, it's a good reason to be a pro member, especially if these are baits that you're trying to get your hands on. But yeah, to that point, as soon as they come in, they go right out. You know, half the time we don't even get to put them back in the bins yet.
We'll talk a little bit more about that Omnia Premium Pro. I actually, I went down and to Florida and pre-practiced with a buddy for the Open. And he's like, hey man, he's like, I signed up for that Omnia Premium Pro kind of just like to support BTL and that. And he's like, they're the best customer service. Like he ordered some stuff. He forgot to like add his discount code. He called up. He's like, dude, it's like, they let you know everything. He was genuinely impressed. And he's like, that's my go-to now. So that's down in Florida. And I've heard that from a number of different guys. Like, hey, thanks for turning me on to Omnia. They're super easy to work with, specifically on the customer service question, getting back to letting you know what's going on with your order.
Yeah, we love to hear that. Obviously, our customers are our top priority, making sure that, you know, they're taken care of, they're well taken care of, and they've got everything that they need. Because as tournament anglers, you know, we know, you know, it seems like all we really care about is how fast can you get it to me, and, you know, do you have it in stock?
Yeah.
So obviously there are challenges in terms of, you know, making sure everything's in stock all the time. But, you know, if we do have it, you know, it is our goal to make sure that you've got it in your hands when you need it.
So I think, 8 or 9 out of the 10. I know Jordan Lee caught some fish. There was some jerkbait action. I think Luke Palmer caught a couple on a jerkbait and stuff. But for the majority on Toledo Bend pre-spawn, that was all Demiki rigging. And then also going on was Santee Cooper over on the BPT side. Jacob Wheeler gets his 74th MLF win.
It seems like every time I text him, you know, like it's just, hey man, congrats on another one. Hey man, congrats on another one. I don't even get to fit a conversation in between our text chains because he's winning so often.
It is. He's by far, you know, I was watching that tournament like a hawk, as I'm sure the other 150 Bassmaster Open EQ anglers are. Practice starts next Saturday there for the third Open EQ. And it's amazing how he manages his fish, and the way that he understands how this game is played, as the rules of that game and the way that it's done changes, whether it's the 5 fish or every fish counts or whether they zero. It was something that I thought was really unique this year. And like I said, I paid a lot of attention to this one. So this was really the first one. I know was their second BP2 tour event of the year, but no coverage on the first 2 days. I kind of get that. There's a lot of professional sports that don't show qualifying rounds, whether it's like tennis, whether it's qualifying for a NASCAR race.
Sure.
I understand they're trying to maximize the bang for their buck over there. That didn't bother me at all. I thought I like JT and Chad. Like JT's I don't know JT at all, but I do like he's a good commentator, I think. But watching that live coverage, one of the biggest things to me was the zeroing of the weight before the final day.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And they hadn't done that for the last couple of years, obviously, but you had everyone on the lake, and then you've got Justin Lucas who goes out and he catches 6-8 pounders on the third day, leaves the area, saves it, and then ends up finishing 10th. I think only catches 1 or 2 fish on the second day. That's the rules. I get it. It's like that. But it was a really interesting tournament because you did have, it was old school mixed with new school. You had Wheeler and Lucas and Alton Jones Jr. who were throwing a Demiki rig shallow in stained water on Santee Cooper with spinning rods, which, you know, you look at Toledo and Santee, I think in anybody's top 5 of the pantheon of historic tournament fisheries, those are 2 of the top 5.
Absolutely.
You're a bass fisherman, you hear those 2, that's like Yankee Stadium.
Yep. That's, you know, big stick, you know, you're going to be catching them on a bait caster. You're not throwing an 1/8 ounce or 3/16 ounce bait. And it's crazy to see how everything has changed. And, you know, guys that would laugh at you for having spinning rods on your deck, they call them fairy wands down south. You know, it's we're kind of seeing that momentum shift, and a lot of people starting to use spinning poles and even upsizing to, you know, the 2,500 size used to be the standard, but now you're seeing guys go to the 3,000s and the 4,000s.
And Koya on the Elite Series was using a size 4,000.
I believe
right?
so. Yeah.
Yeah. 4,000. We actually have our hands on one of those that we're going to show, but that Santee. So you really want to talk about the dynamics of the rules with them zeroing. So you had Rojas, who gave Wheeler a run for his money. I like the blackout look from Rojas. He went white last year with the white Suzuki and the white blazer and the white poles and the white the ice jersey. And then he goes all dark gunmetal gray and black this year. But I don't think he caught a fish over. He might have caught 1 4-pounder, but his average fish was like right at 3 pounds or less. Everyone else in the top 5 had 5, 6, 7. Becker had an 8-pounder. And then you had guys who were relying on big fish and average. You had guys that were catching males, guys that were targeting females. I thought it was a very interesting tournament in a transitional time period. But man, it just, I still think you got to combine those last 2 days of weights. You can't, Lucas has literally one of the best days in the history of professional bass fishing. Like if you put it into,
Sure.
you could throw Rojas's Toho event, you can throw Falcon Lake and Paul Elias and Falcon Lake, you can throw
Lee Livesey on fork,
you can throw it, and that was like in the mix as one of the greatest days. And then he finishes 10th and catches one fish on the final day. I know it's the rules, but dude, that drove me nuts. I felt so bad for him.
It's almost like you have to, when you have that 5-fish format, you could literally go out there and get 5 bites and look like a superstar with 25 pounds. But with this changing format where, it gets zeroed on the final day, if it's catch as many as you can, it helps to have, massive schools of 2.5 to 3 pounders that you can just lean on all day long. But then as soon as you switch it and you zero the weights and you go to a 5-fish format, it's like, what does a 2.5 pound average bag get you? 12.5 pounds. That doesn't really do much for you when you're looking at that format.
So a lot to unpack there. Both of those events, if you'd have told me those would be won primarily on a spinning rod 3 years ago, I would have smiled, but I would not have believed it. It was wild listening to Greg Hackney talk on the live mix, to watching Jason Christie on day one, to seeing how shocked everyone was that Jordan Lee on the final day made a late day call on a chatterbait.
Correct.
On Toledo Bend. It's definitely a new era, and there's a lot to unpack there. And I just say, at BTL, I already looked, there's already 20 podcasts out about how this went down over the past weekend.
Sure.
And I'm still trying to unpack on like how to follow that. But the way I'm thinking of it is, dude, this is how they're catching them. This is what's going on. We're not beating this. Is that politically correct to still say beating a dead horse? I think we can still say that. We're not beating a dead horse.
We're not going to hold you.
This is the reality of professional fishing in 2024. And if you look past the surface, and this is just my opinion speaking, there are a lot of things going on behind the scenes, a lot of subtleties, a lot of talent, a lot of skill, and a lot of decision making. That is why you saw Patrick Walters with 2 30-pound bags. That is why you see Fujita blowing it away. That is why you're still seeing these guys that can catch them better than all the other guys that are out there still trying to do the same thing. I might do a whole show on this. I just had a conversation. Like, have you upped your Demiki and light line game because of this?
Yeah, it makes me want to, that's for sure. I think when you're looking at up north here, natural lakes, you get a lot of grass, you're still fishing a lot of structure and that sort of stuff. Me particularly, I fish a lot of smallmouth on Mille Lacs, and generally you're looking for rock piles, and those fish, they stick so close to the bottom that chances are you don't even see them on live or forward facing sonar. And so you have to make a cast to that target before, they'll kind of lift up off the bottom. So, there are places where I think it's going to play more than it does here. But it absolutely makes me, I've considered, switching all my graphs over to, get some more live scope deucers on the trolling motor, put a big old NBT 22 battleship on there and that sort of thing. It all comes with, just seeing the guys and how efficient they are. And I think, if I don't have a dog in the fight, whether or not I say this is the greatest thing or this is the worst thing. I think it's just technology, and it just goes to show how it doesn't matter. It does matter to have all of that, but you can see a lot of the guys, they all have the same equipment, or they all have it. There are just some guys that are a lot more dialed in to using it than others.
You mentioned that. I noticed, a couple graphs in the background. Have you guys noticed at Omnia an increase in traffic on people looking at the electronics on your site?
Yeah. One of the big ones, like I said, that NBT Marine 22-inch battleship is like kind of the talk of the town right now. So we have seen a lot of people looking at those things. I will say, if you're a pro member, so if you're an Omnia Pro member right now, we have 20% back on electronics as a tackle credit.
Wow.
It's a good time to go get one. If you're not a pro member, get the pro membership.
What is it? Is that $29.99 a year?
It's $49 a year.
$49 a year. Yeah.
Yep.
So you get that back if you buy one thing.
Correct. Yep. And then aside from the special promo that we have with electronics, it's 10% back on your purchases regardless. So, if you're buying tackle pretty regularly, like we all are, you're gonna earn that back in credit. But you get special opportunities like the electronics promo that we have. So anything that's marine electronics, you're getting 20% back as Omnia credit.
And then you also get access to the Premium Pro maps that you guys are working on with all of the features that can help you be in the right area to use those electronics, which is something that I know Omnia is putting a lot of emphasis on in 2024, is that Premium Pro app with the mapping, with the lakes, with like name some of the different layers that app has. So this is all like, it's not just the tackle stuff, like this is
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have our app, which is just the Omnia app, and then the Omnia Pro membership, which, like you were saying, gives you access to the map layer. So one of the biggest announcements that we have is we finally got Navionics integrated into it. So now if you're a pro member, you have Navionics contours up to a 1 foot detail. And then in addition to that, we use CMAP. So if you're familiar with CMAP, it's like social mapping charts that people go and they record their sonar logs and they upload it to a cloud. So contours from there. The coverage can be spotty in places, but it is more detailed when there is coverage on those particular bodies of water. So you've got contours, you've got bottom hardness, you've got presence of vegetation. And I think two that are very, very crucial, especially, for tournament anglers, is water clarity and water temperature. So those are satellite derived imaging. It's super unique. And if you want, we also have it available now on the Omnia site as well, in addition to the app. Navionics is not on the site, but the water clarity, the water
and
temperature,
the lake maps, and we'll see a bunch of that as I continue, guys. We're going to get back in. I had like, so outside of my house, there's like a pole, and that's where my internet gets connected to. And it would just randomly go out. Yeah. I had like 4 guys come out. They're always super nice at Vive, but I finally had like, I guess, the KVD of the internet issues come out. And I was like, dude, someone's already looked at that. And he goes, yeah, but I haven't. And that was when I knew, like, I was dealing with the man, right? And he comes back in finally, and he's climbed the ladder, and he's like, you see this? And he's like, all right, outside. And he turns it over, and it just is like rust water flowing out of it. And he's like, this is what gives power to you. He's like, you should be good. So anyway, I'll be filming a bunch more of day 5s. We're doing calico bass on the coast. We're doing Casey Scanlon on Lake of the Ozarks. I've got some really good leads on some cool. So we'll be using all of those Omnia Premium Pro maps for all of that day 5 content that'll be dropping probably like the next 3 or 4 Fridays after I get back. But yeah, one more time then on the electronics. Correct. Big save, 20%. Yeah, today tackle credit. So
today's the last day. So if you sign up for a pro membership, or if you are a pro member, if you get any one of these, anything
so one day, so if you spend $8,000, you get 1,800 in tackle credit. Is that how that works? I think is that 20%? So maybe 16, something like that. Yeah. So you got a bunch of baits in front of you. You got line in front of you. We got some reels in front of you. I think we're going to take our first break of the show. And when we come back, we're going to dive into some of the stuff that you guys pulled from the Omnia warehouse on what's been going on. I also do want to mention the Rayburn on Toyota. Colby Miller, I know him a little bit. The dude has always been an incredibly nice, a talented young angler in that Rayburn, Toledo Bend area. 77.7 for 3 days. So the 3 major events: Toledo, Elite Series, Santee Cooper, and Rayburn.
Good place to be.
All dominated by spinning rods. Yeah, there's a smile on my face. I like it. I mean, just like when Flippin' came out, right? It's a new era, and I have some thoughts on that I'll talk about. That I'll talk about later on this week after I make the drive. It's a really cool drive. The only thing is it takes 3 hours and 47 minutes to go dead nuts from the top of Iowa down to the bottom of Iowa. Correct. So we are going to take our first break of the show. And when we come back, we'll dive into some baits, and then we'll get Luke Lowy in here to talk about Rapala. I see he's got that Crush City. What is that one called? The one that's the Demiki.
You may have heard of it. I think it's something like the freeloader, maybe?
Yeah, the freeloader. Yeah, that was it. Because I was thinking of the Mayor, because that's also another small swim bait. And then you've got, it's crazy. All right, it is BTO on a Monday with Trevor Lo live from the Omnia Fishing headquarters. Guys, link in the description. Check out Omnia. That goes directly to the BTL link. Helps a lot because it shows that the BTL listeners are going through that link. So I like that AFCO hat too. Like I'm all about. I've probably got 50 AFCO hats. I've not seen that one.
It's a good one.
I'm gonna have to make a call to Matt Florentino on that
There you
one.
go.
I like it. All right, BTL on a Monday. We will be back right after this.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Everything you need, one legendary brand. Top on Strike King.
Fish.
I'm the kind of guy that never leaves the house without a pocket knife, and Gamakatsu's come out with the EDC series of knives. EDC stands for everyday carry, so whether you're on the water or off, you can always have it with you. The best thing about it to me is that assisted open feature. With this D2 blade, you've got it right here at your fingertips, so if you can't find your scissors, you need to cut a knot, you need to cut your braid, you've always got it. Make sure you check it out. Never leave home without your Gamakatsu EDC knife.
Born in Japan, using technology, innovation, and precision, Sunline produces the widest selection of fishing lines at the most technologically advanced line factory in the world. Manufactured at the strictest tolerances to produce victories at the highest levels of tournament bass fishing. From household names like Christie, Swindle, and Cruz, to young guns like Cook, Logan, New, and Welcher, they all trust Sunline to take them to the top of the leaderboard. Choose the line that will give you the strength to guarantee your confidence.
In 2023, we became a household name in the crappie fishing world thanks to Power Breaks, the game changer. Hey, bass fishing world, buckle up, because you're next. It's going to be fun. Welcome to the next evolution of our product line, Power Breaks Sidekick, designed to install right on your shallow water anchors. We are the first and only fishing brake company to offer a breakaway system. Just like with the Game Changer, the Power Brake Sidekick has it as well. And it's not a matter of if you're going to need it, it's when. Power Brakes, the most durable fishing brakes available on the market today. Made right here in the USA with our rock-solid 2-year warranty. Hey, not all fishing brakes are built equally, and you owe it to yourself to find out why ours are different. Power Brake Sidekick. Order yours today at mypowerbrakes.com. You'll be glad you did.
All right, welcome back, BTL, on a Monday live from Omnia. Everything's starting to get there. Shipments are starting to go out.
Yep, orders are getting picked.
Yeah, you were showing me before. Let's get into some of the baits that are predominant. Obviously, Santee Cooper went down. I saw a lot of guys throw in just straight wacky worms, Nico stuff on that. Mainly Cinco style baits, thinner worm style baits, things like that. So some of those key ones are just 5-inch Cincos that see what it looked like.
Yeah, I mean, when you're fishing cypress trees, a lot of guys will just flip Senkos in there. This kind of segues into one of the promos that we got coming up. It starts tomorrow, so it's going to be 25% off all Yamamoto. So Yamamoto is a super strong brand in our inventory. We're super excited to run a special promo like that. But yeah, I've got Yamamoto up here just for that very reason. But, obviously with forward-facing sonar, shad-shaped floater worms are popular. in addition to obviously Senko's playing at Santee Cooper as well.
Yamamoto coming out with a bunch of new stuff. Still the most brilliant move when Gary molded that ballpoint pen was to be like, let's put enough salt in there that you get one fish per Senko.
Correct.
And then make them catch fish. So guys will spend $7-8 a pack on it and get eight fish out of the pack. But yeah, save a little money on that. Omni, you guys have a ton of deals all the time too. Every time I'm on the site. So like one of the things with BTL is I try to highlight one of the Omnia deals per week, and I always have a difficult time picking which one. You do a lot of giveaways. You do a lot of stuff with Seth Fighter, with the Elite Series Pros. You do a lot of stuff with like pertinent giveaways or pertinent percent offs and discounts on kind of what's going on at the moment.
Yeah, like I said, Polish Pete heads our merchandising team, and he's very in tune with what's going on in the industry and obviously stuff that's trending. And so, when people are looking to get tackle, following an event that they see, somebody just dominate with something like this, we kind of have an idea of what we think will play. And so we have the ability to run special promos to help our anglers get tackled.
All right. You showed me the video during the commercial break because I didn't believe it, but I heard him say it with my own lips. Koya was throwing 30-pound line on that is what he said on his main line.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
That's literally what he said. Like I just heard him say that.
Yeah. Obviously with all of us guys that are really, I guess used to throwing a spinning rod or
10,
using,
12, like 16 max is your braided line.
Correct.
And then you tie whichever newfangled knot you choose to your fluorocarbon leader and then the business end.
Yeah. And that's the thing, when you're down in Texas, obviously you have that chance of running into, 7, 8, 9, 10 pounders. So I would imagine, you would upsize your line a little bit. And so, according to that video that I saw, he's got that new scope and stick that is
that's a wild rod too, because I think most of us, me included, I don't own a spinning rod under 7 foot.
Correct. Yeah, I think the shortest spinning rod I have is a 610, and so Pete actually, when he was in Japan at I forget what the tackle show is, but like it's a world renowned,
it's like ICAST in Japan.
Correct. Yep. He was there and he actually got to see this rod that they make, and I can't remember it. It's going to retail at some ridiculous price.
Daiwa rod?
I believe so. Yeah, it's like a Daiwa Steez or something like that. And it's a 6'5" medium light rod, but it's got a very unique tip and a good amount of backbone too, because those guys that are hover strolling, they're doing a ton of shaking as they're working that bait back to them. But obviously, when you're going to run into some big fish like that, you need a rod that's a little bit beefier, has a backbone. So it does say medium light, or that's technically what it's rated as, but I'm sure there's a little bit more backbone to that rod.
And he called it a mid strolling special.
Correct. Yeah.
And then the other thing that I thought was interesting was, and it varies on pro to pro. Like I know some guys like to throw a 2500. There's other guys who like to pack a lot of line on a bigger reel. He was throwing a size 4000 spinning reel with that too, which is a substantial spinning reel compared to a 2500, which is what I would say the standard is. You have one right there. Be careful. That's like 3 months of my salary right there that you're holding.
This is the Bentley when it comes to spinning reels from Daiwa. This is their Exist. And this one came out just a couple years ago, but yeah, absolute buttery smooth. The drag is phenomenal on this thing. Lightweight, all monocoque body. So just one piece solid frame. But the key thing, like you were saying, is upgrading to that bigger size reel, that 3000, that 4000. And what that does for you, obviously, it gives you a bigger spool. Kyoya was talking about 30-pound braid main line. So obviously you're going to have a little bit bigger diameter with that. So to have a bigger spool, you can fit more line on there. The casting is going to be much smoother. You're going to get bigger casting distance, although I don't know how much of that was a factor when they're looking at them, 30 feet away. And then, the bigger frame allows for that, bigger drag disc in there, much smoother drag compared to, your 2500s. So bunch of benefits to running a bigger sized spinning reel, the 3000, 4000. And to your point, I've gone to a 3000. I'm considering moving up to 4000, and I don't see myself ever going back.
Have you guys seen a lot more spinning reel sales in the past 2 years at Omni? I know you're like in Minnesota, so you have a lot of northern consumer base. that utilizes spinning reels for a lot of applications, but as it has become the standard, of you guys been like, holy cow, like we're just rolling through spinning reels and rods over here?
Yeah, I think obviously we were able to track, where those shipments go in terms of orders that are placed. So, we are starting to see spinning reels get sold more to that southern market. To your point, Minnesota up here, the Midwest, we're all very accustomed to throwing spinning reels. So that's always been strong. But yeah, we're starting to see an increase in that southern market.
And then the same with rods too, as well, because I think a lot of guys down south, like the standard is, in my opinion, it's like one spinning rod combo for every 8 bait casters. So if you have 24 bait casting combos, which I would say is fair, you got 3 good spinning reel combos. Now I'm seeing like Alton Jones Jr., I think I counted like 13 or 14 spinning rod combos on his front deck from I'm getting my legs confused, Santee Cooper.
Yeah.
So I think you're seeing a lot more guys that are investing a lot more into that spinning reel stuff.
Yeah. And up here, like I said, in Minnesota, upper Midwest, I would say it's pretty dang close to a 50-50 ratio when it comes to the number of spinning reel rods setups that you have in comparison to bait casters. Obviously, I think you still have more bait casters, so it might be closer to 40-60, but it's definitely not as drastic of a ratio as your typical southern market, though.
All right. You said there was a deal on the line, and then I got my mind blown with the fact that he was throwing 34. Clint, who was there, Bartlett, who does a lot of media and stuff, he said that it was for the fall rate, so he could get that bait to fall slower, and that's why he used the shorter leader. And then I did notice that he was giving him the beans.
Sure.
So that totally explains why he had the 6.5 rod, the 30 pound, the heavier leader line. So he was able to really lean into those.
Yeah, that's such a neat thing to point out, because I remember when I think he caught his kicker fish of the day, or his
dude, like
keeper.
I mean, that's why I said he's so tiny, so maybe I thought it looked like he was giving it, but no, he was actually just like hammering him.
Yeah. And I did notice, when he was holding that fish, he's got it in his hands, and the leader is only like 1.5 feet, 2 feet beyond the fish's mouth. And I was like, man, he's running a pretty short leader. So that makes a ton of sense in terms of, slowing down that fall rate as much as you can. But yeah, super cool. But yeah, segueing into line a little bit, today is the last day. Most of our sales run Tuesday to Tuesday, but we do have 25% off all fishing line right now on the site.
Regardless of brand, all you got to use is the code 25 line. So hold on, let me see. This is some high technology right here. So this is I'm not an Apple guy, so everything is backwards, so I have to scroll up to go down, and then down to go up. Boom, there it is right there. 25% off all line, all fishing line, no exclusion through today. Code 25 line at omniafishing.com.
Correct. Or through the app,
or through the Omni app. That's how I ordered my 3/8 ounce tungsten jig heads.
There you go.
It was through the app.
It's pretty easy, right?
Yeah. And then so I'd lost 1 in practice, and so I got 5 packs. I gave Upshaw a pack, gave one of my other buddies a pack, and like in 4 days I lost 1. You're a tournament guy, you'll appreciate this. So I roll into Washita, I've got 4 of them tied on. I literally break 3 off in the first 5 minutes of day 1 in the morning. Like I don't know how you go 3.5 days and lose 1 and then lose 3 in the opening 5 casts.
Yeah. That's how it goes. I remember I was fishing the James, practicing for one of the opens, and cypress trees with a Senko, and in all of practice it was just like I couldn't shake them off enough, and then when it actually came down to tournament day, it was like I upped my line a little bit, and it was like every hook set barnacles just cutting me right off, and I was like, I have not lost a fish all practice. And like I'm trying to shake, I clip my hooks and everything, and I'm shaking, and they won't come off. But of course, during the tournament, it's just like, you're just getting caught up, your line's getting cut like crazy, and fish are coming up. But,
All right, I see Luke's sulking around back here. I don't think he's like, do we have to make him eat the entire chip, or can we? Okay, well, this is you guys were the ones that came up with this. You have to admit. But so we're going to take a break, and then we'll bring Luke in. I do want to talk to Luke about Rapala and working with some of their pro team and what they've got before we make him eat the chip. That way we can get it out, because I don't think he's going to be able to handle it afterwards. And then I don't want to put him through that like on camera. I'm offering like a little bit of an olive branch. And here's the only reason why, because in that St. Jude, it is a team tournament, but the only reason we beat him was because Bart, like I was like, let's call it a day. Like we've got 3 babies, and Bart's like, oh no, it can happen. It can happen. And I was watching the OU Texas game on my phone with 5 minutes left. And Bart legitimately goes back-to-back 3-pounders right outside the off limits to totally salvage the day. And that ended up being the reason.
Just enough.
Now I don't feel too bad, because the second day I did start out and hose like a 4.5 on a trap. And, I said, yeah, no net, nothing. I said, I snagged a carp in the back. Don't worry about it. And I had 12-pound crank FC on and just was winching this thing in like 3 foot of water. And it comes by the boat. And I was like, oh yeah, no, just kidding. That's a giant.
Yeah.
So I did add to the total on the second day. So that's why I don't feel too bad. But, anything else that you want to get in here? We'll bring you back in just for the final segment to close it out before we bring Luke in here.
Yeah, we appreciate you like crazy. We've been super thrilled about partnering up with BTL, and obviously with all the listeners, just being able to get in front of them. And appreciate you like crazy. And thanks for listening to BTL.
What's it like having an 18-month-old?
She's kind of crazy. But as crazy as she gets, all she has to do is look at you and say, hi, Dad, and it's just like,
makes it all.
Yep. I'm not mad at you anymore.
All right. I saved just a couple of commercials here. So we'll take that break. Then we'll come back with Luke. Then we'll close it out with you. BTL on a Monday. I believe it is February 26th. Yes, it is. The burbot fishing got me all screwed up because we didn't get back till pout week, eel pout week. I didn't even talk about that, did I?
We can get into it
we'll close it with that. We'll get Lucas BTL on a Monday live from the Omnia Fishing headquarters in Minnesota. We'll be back right after this.
Have you considered purchasing new electronics for your rig? The type of mounts you choose to protect your investment should be part of the decision-making process. No matter if you prefer 1, 2, or 3 graphs up front, Beatdown Outdoors has a solution for you. Adjustable, versatile, rigid, and made in the USA. What's your ultimate electronics setup? Check out the full selection of Beatdown Outdoors products by visiting beatdownoutdoors.com.
The Spro Little John crankbait has been around for almost 15 years, and it is one of my go-to crankbaits whenever I need a fish in the boat, so you can never have enough new colors. That's why Spro's coming out with a handful of new colors, including Pearl Shad, which has this bleached out white look, but it's got this pearlescent, really, really pretty. We've got Copper Shad, which looks amazing in the water. It's got that purple flake on the back, really, really pops in the water. And then if you want some real pop, we've got Sparkle Shad, nothing but sparkles all over this thing. And then last but not least, we've got the matte Sexy Shad, just a really different looking color for a crankbait. So you want to give them a little different look. That matte Sexy Shad is definitely the one to go with. All these colors are available in the original Little John and the MD. Having confidence in your tackle while on the water is one of the main things to success, in my opinion. In the last couple of years with Denali, I've had just that. From anything from spinning rods, casting rods, tungsten products, even now to casting and spinning reels, I have the confidence to go out there and get the job done and know that all my equipment is going to handle it and do it just the way I want it. The thing about Denali is you've got great quality products at a great price point, so make sure you check them out.
All right, we're back. We're furiously trying to get everything together here. We've got a bunch. Luke, thanks for coming back on BTL. I know you didn't have an option because you worked at Omnia last year when you were here, and they told you you're going to be on the show. So thanks for coming back. So you're full-time with Rapala now.
Yep. Thanks for having me on, though. It's good to be back.
You enjoy that? So that is the head guy over there. That's Dan Quinn, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I've talked to him. I need to get him on BTL. Guys have assembled one hell of a pro staff over at Rapala, and it's highly impressive.
Yeah, doing well so far. So it's been a good start for Rapala. We'll get into it, but
They are probably in my opinion, the best old school company that has maintained their roots but completely reinvented themselves. And I think that's really hard for companies to do, where you have the guys, who throw a Shad Wrap or a G11 or a Ripid Wrap or all that, and then still stay on the cutting edge, not only with the pro staff, with what they do with colors, with baits, with the forward-facing sonar. And then obviously you guys just launched the Crush City, Jacob Wheeler's brand there at ICAST this past year, and then he just won on it. But I would say the Mayor and the Freeloader have to be right now probably the two hottest in the lineup.
Yeah, I mean, the Freeloader has been winning tournaments to start the year. It's already got 3 wins so far, and back-to-back for the Bass Pro Tour with Connell and Wheeler, getting the first 2 wins on the Freeloader. So that's been really big. But yeah, off to a great start. Crush City's been flying off the shelves. I know everywhere it's, kind of tough to get them right now because the demand is so high, but I know it's perfect timing for Rapala to get into the soft plastics game with Crush City.
So if I'm speaking wrong, correct me, but so like Gamakatsu and Spro are like kind of sister companies. Is that the same with Rapala and VMC? Kind of the same thing with the hooks. So that's why you see a lot of the Spro guys, that are also with Gamakatsu, like a Mike McClellan, that type of deal. That's why you also see a lot of the Rapala guys that are with VMC too as hooks, that type of thing. So the
Rapala
hybrid
VMC.
swim bait jig, that's the hottest jig head going right now too on that?
Yeah, right now the VMC hybrid swim bait jig head with the screw lock. This has been what the guys have been throwing the Freeloader with the most, screw locking it on there and then doing the shake and bake technique, which is obviously the most popular technique.
That's what you call it, the shake and bake?
Yep. Shake and bake.
Dude, that's a new one. There needs to be a list of everything that they call it. So, and then what is this we got?
This is, that's one of my personal favorites from our new stuff with Rapala, the wrap stack boxes, and specifically the foam trade. It's got, the bottom is all foam, and then it's got slits throughout, and you can just put your jig heads in it and they stay in the foam slits. I've got 3 right now. I think I do my hair jigs in there in one, and then everything for scoping, strolling, swim bait heads.
What did you call it?
Scoping.
Shake and bake?
Shake and bake, yeah.
I think Milliken's got that on the side of his boat, but I don't know if that has
I think that's the Talladega Nights.
Right.
Yeah.
But that is an interesting thing. Which, by the way, Ben Milliken does not surprise me. Like, I've learned you never bet against Ben, and I think what we're learning, and I would be guilty of this, is I thought he was a very talented angler. I thought that he would maybe struggle a little bit with the tournament fishing, but what we're learning is he is a very talented angler, and it's not like where he was fishing, it was how he was fishing, and that he had that understanding and that he had the wherewithal to just translate that to the tournament world, which, I mean, you're a tournament fisherman. We're all tournament fishermen. I think a lot of us overthink it. And Ben went out there with the confidence and said, I'm going to do what I do, how I do it. And it just happens to be better than 99.99% of the people out there. So no surprise on, I think the biggest surprise to me was that he didn't come in with 33 pounds on the final day and win. And it looked like in the morning, like, were you watching it live in the morning? And I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Yep.
I think he had some fish in the scope that could have done it. But
yeah,
I think he lost a couple. But
yeah, I mean, but yeah, very impressive showing.
Well, and if you pay attention to Bassmaster Fantasy at all, it was, if you look at the number of people that picked him in that bucket, it was like 40%.
It is, and he's the hottest thing going, and he's got his area code on there,
correct,
and not a single other sponsor.
Yeah,
so good for Ben Milliken. It'll be very interesting to watch. Either of you guys going to bet against him at Lake Fork?
To see what the buckets look like, but
if him and Killian are in one bucket, that's going to be kind of tough to pick one or the other. But yeah, they're both going to be probably the top 2 picked.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna get on the soapbox for a second. So, like I said, we have the Red Hot One Chip Challenge. The reason I am at Omnia is we had the Break Your PB event with Adam Bartuzik and the Crappie Chronicles. I think we raised a little bit over $7,000. There are some really good BTL fans that came out to that event to support St. Jude. We did a bunch of giveaways, raffles. I had a Denali rod, Sunline prize pack. AFCO pitched in for some of that, and then there's a bunch of ice stuff that I had no idea what it was. Which, by the way, guys, you talked to the ice guys up here, and when I was here last fall, I went to the Clam headquarters. It's just been a disastrous ice season up here, like something like it's never before been seen. Like there's driving up here. I mean, I'm in Minnesota, and there's like no ice.
Yeah. There's been hardly any snow.
It was unbelievable. It's like going to be 55 today, and for a season that's 4 or 5 months, I was talking to them, and they're like, dude, stuff's down like 50-60% on ice sales, which is crazy because it is such a small segment that relies on Mother Nature for this. So hopefully that'll rebound with a good ice season next year. But if you guys follow any of the ice stuff, it's been a wild ice season, and most of the ice fishing stuff has been like Red Lake up and in some of the areas that have been crazy cold. But in the metro area, you guys usually get a solid 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I don't do a whole lot of ice fishing myself. Luke could probably speak to that more, but yeah, generally speaking, at least my friend group, it's you're on the ice from late November, early December through March for the most part. So
yeah, that's true. There's only been a handful of weeks. It's been weird because I think there was a stint for a couple of weeks where it was super cold and got good ice, and then right back to warm weather. So
but anyway, so they were giving out a bunch of ice fishing stuff there, and then it all goes to the Dick Hiley St. Jude Bass Classic. This is the 26th year of it. I know Gretchen, who runs that, has said she's gotten a call from several BTL listeners who are jumping in that event. Usually I'm like the farthest to travel from Oklahoma, but I think she's got a set of team from Kansas is coming. And I think there's a couple other teams that are signed up because of BTL. You can just Google the Dick Hiley St. Jude Bass Classic. It pulls up. There's registration for that. And then, like I said, over basically $1.1 million last year. If you guys have been keeping up, I've been with Miles Berghoff and his family. His daughter, Riley, is currently at St. Jude in the Tridelt house is where they're living, not the actual sorority. I think the sorority sponsors a house on the campus. At first, when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's not a bad gig for Miles. Yeah. But she has started chemo, and he kind of does updates. I try not to bug him a little bit too much, but it was crazy how I didn't have a direct connection with St. Jude, as a lot of anglers didn't who supported it. But now, I mean, that's a dude that we know. His 10-month-old daughter is there, is going through it. And then also Pate at Pro Guide with his son has some, and they're in totally different stages of treatment. One I think is nearing the end, and one's kind of near the beginning with Miles. But anyway, so a lot of different connections there with St. Jude. So if you guys want to fish that tournament, have any interest in fishing that tournament, you can message me, talk with me. I can walk you through it. It's the first week of May. It's a fantastic fishery on the Mississippi River that time of year. You're talking pre-spawn smallmouth, spawning largemouth potentially. If you like to frog flip, swim jig, you can do that in the backwaters. If you like to jerk bait, swim bait, live scope, Ned rig, smallmouth, you can go down and do that in the lake. It's easy to fish. It's fun fishing. You can probably talk more on that. You've spent a lot of time on that section of the river.
Yeah. I mean, if whatever you want to do out there, you can do it. Like you just mentioned, any technique that you feel comfortable with that time of year, largemouth, smallmouth, it's a really good fishery to just catch fish. And I think that's why it's such a popular tournament, just for fishermen to just have fun and catch fish. Obviously it's for a great cause with St. Jude, but the fishing's great that time of year. So, all
right. So anyway, we kicked your butt last year, and we've got the chip now. Anything else? Because you won't be able to talk anything about this. Anything else that you guys want to know about RAP? Now, you've been there less than a year, and you're on social media, so it's not like you're you can speak educated about it, but anything else that you need to get in on RAP? How easy is it to work with those guys? For me in the media, Wheeler is, and you're talking about it, you have text change with him. Wheeler is probably one of the top 3 easiest pros to work with when it comes to being professional, getting back with you, following through on what he said. Would you agree with that? He's one of the easiest to work with over there on Rapala?
Yeah, absolutely. He's willing to do pretty much anything all the time. I will give one plug. We're doing a Crush City Cruise series right now. We're 2 episodes in. And all the people that are a part of Crush City have been great to work with, but we're dropping more episodes throughout the year, just showing like people's stories and how Crush City started. So give that a check.
You doing some of that filming and editing too?
Nope, that's by Sam Moore. So it's not
Oh,
by me.
they went with the big guns there.
Yeah, they brought in the big guns for that one. So
I need to do a show on the behind the scene guys like Clint and Sam Moore and some of those guys that are out there.
cool, yeah.
Okay, so no BS. Like 10 years ago, I'd have been like, oh yeah, take the chip, but I'm giving you an out now. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's up to you. But we are live. There's over 300. There's over 315 people on live right now. We have some of the Omnia Fishing staff that is assembled in the backdrop. So it's just those a lot of hundred of people that are watching right now, but also a lot of thousands of people that will know about it. You're a Division I athlete. I thought you learned how to like handle with pain, handle pain and pressure.
Yeah.
Like, did you guys get, so like in hockey, we got bag skated.
I have no idea what that is.
That's where you skate to, you need a bag to throw up in.
Okay, no.
But we did like lines, like blue line back, red line back, blue line back, red line back.
I've done some workouts to the point where
did that? Do they do
they
that?
pretty much knew we were all going to throw up. Yeah.
They do that in D1
in the summers. Yeah, in the summers. I've done something like that before.
So you know how to like block it out, like the mental strength that it takes.
Yeah, I've never really had to do it with a spicy food before.
It kind of sounds like you're trying to talk him out of this out.
It sounds like you are.
I'm giving you an out.
I'm okay with that.
No, I mean, I got a gallon of milk for some reason. We went with the full gallon of skim milk.
I just wanted to make sure that you had enough
skim milk. I'm going to drink a little bit because if I have to drink it after the chip, and I don't want to like spill the whole gallon on myself.
Yeah, everyone's saying eat the, some people are saying don't do it, brother. Yeah, 50-50. All right, here we go. So this is the
I do think that we should open up to the audience to ask some questions and have Luke answer after eating.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have any Rapala questions, anything like that, yeah.
Luke Lowy related questions.
Yep. That'll be open for questions.
I've seen this. I kind of feel bad, but like I said, not really.
No, I will say I'm a man of my word here. I did bet on this and lost. So I will eat the chip.
Son.
So I had forgotten about the bet until Adam caught those and he was like, "You're welcome." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And then I was like, "Oh my gosh." So that's why like day 2, I had like fresh trebles on. I was like, "All right, we need to come back."
Wow, they give you a glove too?
Yeah, I'd put the glove on.
A glove?
Yeah, you don't want to touch your eyes after you do this.
Look at this packaging. I'm just looking at the.
You want to read it out loud?
Warning: this product is for adults only.
I think you're 18, right?
Yeah.
Does it say anything else on there?
Red Hot Reaper, hottest chip, Carolina Reaper, spicy challenge, stupidly spicy hot chip.
I watched a documentary. I talked about it on BTL, and it was like it was literally about like the spicy food subculture, and I'm coughing just thinking about it.
I'm nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
It says no ID, no sale.
No, but it was literally like
Where'd you get
a
that thing?
6-part series on I think Hulu about these people who like are spicy food enthusiasts and like competitive spicy food eating. And I was like, dude, if we can do this for spicy, like why can we not get a Netflix reality bass series?
Right.
Like there's got to be like
a bigger audience.
Hold on, I'm gonna have to mute it for a second. I'm not kidding. I'm coughing. All right, we're back. I didn't even open the chip.
No.
Good luck, sir.
Don't do the whole thing for real.
Just
take. I'm serious. Just take a. You can either put the whole chip in your mouth, but I'm cool if you just take a small bite. Like that would be.
I'll take you up on that. I'll taste it.
That would be a happy
like
medium.
A half.
Just like take a half.
Panger's a really nice guy.
He is nice.
I didn't realize how nice of a guy you were.
I just don't want to be open for like lawsuits on the show.
No, I just come at Trevor for this.
All right, here we go.
Son.
You want to split it with me?
Just touch it with that.
I'm lactose intolerant, so I couldn't have milk to help me.
Oh, aren't you a spicy food guy though?
A little bit. So.
All right, it literally looks just like a Dorito.
He just doesn't know it actually is just a Dorito.
I'm gonna put my hand. Like you seem like a very upstage. I have no idea what's gonna come out of your mouth. Hopefully not the chip and milk, but after you take a bite of this.
I have no idea.
Have you not seen the videos of this?
No.
You really haven't like Googled like hot chip challenge, like when the news anchors do it and stuff, and then they're like off air for the next 4 days.
Well, if I have to be off air after this chip enters my mouth, thanks for having me on. I'm going to try to stay here.
Pete, no, I do know CPR, but he just ate a spicy chip. I ain't giving him CPR because I know he has a spicy chip.
I think I just got recertified for first responder, and generally speaking, they don't require you to do mouth to mouth anymore. It's just chest compressions.
Really?
Yep.
To staying alive.
Correct. Or Baby Shark is the new tempo, or it's the same tempo.
Please don't give me
How does
mouth
that
to mouth.
go?
I'm glad you don't have to give me mouth to mouth.
Baby shark, Oh, okay, I got you.
Yep.
Pete's in the chat?
Huh?
You said Pete's in the chat?
No.
No.
There's a bunch of people in the chat. You're 50-50 on some people are laughing at you and some people I think genuinely feel bad because they know what's about to happen.
Well, the fact that it comes with a glove.
I mean, I guess the last thing I'll say is, you should have called one more 5-pounder.
Yeah, it's tough. Tough out there. Tough derby for the L's in the chat. I'm just going to
L's in the chat.
I'm just going to take a bite off the tip here.
Oh, he took the bite. You can hear
He's crunching away.
Oh, God.
Is it that bad? That was impressive. You didn't even hesitate. You just took. You don't have to eat anymore. Like that was a substantial bite. I'd say that was a third of the chip.
Oh my God.
You're right there.
Can we talk? Can we describe
I'll be good.
it? We have tears coming out of the eyes for the
No.
iTunes listeners.
Give me 20 seconds. I'm good.
I think it gets worse from what I've seen after 20 seconds.
Nope. We're good.
You want to eat the rest of it now?
Is Fergus grabbing like Kleenex or something? Napkins maybe.
Thoughts, opinions?
One more drink and then I'll be able to speak.
Is it a painful burn
No.
or like a
Careful.
a delicious
Careful.
burn?
Careful with those hands.
Like I just lost a 10-pounder burn? Like how would you describe where are you feeling it? I thought you said one more drink.
It just goes. It's a bite and then it goes straight up into like your sinuses.
Mm-hmm.
And it's living.
You're
in
good,
there.
dude. You don't have to do anymore. Like that was a substantial bite. Like that was some cool stuff. Oh,
Is it better or worse than you thought?
I didn't really know what to expect. I'm not gonna eat the rest of the chip. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm not eating the rest of the
100%.
chip.
I gave you that. Like, dude, like I appreciate you coming in and doing it
On a Monday.
on a Monday. I just assumed, like I said, that he was like went to Rapala to get out of eating the chip, and we never hear from him
Holy
again. Like I said, I think
it's
that
hot, dude.
I think that it. Like I said, it's kind of like losing a 10-pounder. You have that initial pain, and then you like fake yourself into thinking that you're okay with it, and then you're 20, 30 casts in, and then you realize I'm not okay with what just happened, and it stays with you for a long
I've
time.
never lost a 10-pounder, so I can't speak to that. But
It's still burning.
You're getting a lot of good comments that you're taking it.
do we have any questions coming in?
Taking it like
I
a
can
pro.
answer
Someone wanted to
questions.
know what your favorite movie was.
Just I'm worried
Right,
about that
Sandlot.
glove, man. Just careful with that glove.
Maybe that's what's. making my eyes
Oh yeah,
water.
here's a question. Jim would like to know what size of hooks are on the new Maverick jerk baits. Are you aware of that?
I can't answer that off the top of my head right now.
Watch that handle. You might
Yeah.
have some dust.
Oh
on
yeah,
there.
I definitely see dust on the handle. All right. I did
I
save.
know the red lines.
Yeah.
The red lines. I don't know the exact size right now.
I did save one more commercial. If you want to
I'm good. No,
take
I'm
the
good.
rest of the agony off air, then we'll come back in and close it out with Trevor.
I'm still good.
He's all right. D1 athlete, man.
Clutch.
All right. Yeah, we're an hour in here. Yeah, do not rub your eyes. There's some people with some good advice on here. We're an hour in here. Trevor, anything else that you want to go over that we need to go over? Like I said, Omnia Pro. Click on the link in the YouTube bio. Also put it when I get home into the iTunes bio or whichever podcast platform.
Yeah, I think it's worth just pulling some screen shares of it, just to kind of show people what they would be getting with, especially with the pro map layers. So we can get into that after the break.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it.
That'll work. All right. We'll take a break. We'll let you reevaluate your life, and then we'll be back and close things out. Things out with Trevor. So BTL on a Monday. That's a first on the show in 17 years. So we'll be back right after this.
Have you considered purchasing new electronics for your rig? The type of mounts you choose to protect your investment should be part of the decision-making process. No matter if you prefer 1, 2, or 3 graphs up front, Beatdown Outdoors has a solution for you. Adjustable, versatile, rigid, and made in the USA. What's your ultimate electronics setup? Check out the full selection of Beatdown Outdoors products by visiting Beatdown Outdoors.
The new Puma STS has been redesigned from the ground up. With the angler, design, function, and performance in mind, nothing on this new offering was compromised, and the only thing carried over from the previous version is the name. Based on the Soft Touch series hull that started with the flagship Jaguar, this new model is nimble and performs incredibly well at all speeds with either a 250 or 300 horsepower engine. Featuring a new 96-inch wide-body footprint, this hull measures out at 20 foot 7 inches in length. Industry-leading design coupled with tournament-winning performance. The Puma STS from Basscat. Feel the rush.
Yeah, get that glove out of there. All right, we're back live. BTL on a Monday. If you just missed Luke Lowy from Rapala.
Hey, Luke, it's here's the mic.
He ate the world's hottest chip because he lost to me and Bartuzek in the.
Luke, it's good to see you again.
Yeah,
Just
no,
wanted to
dude,
let you know
I
that.
give that a 10 out of 10. Like you handled that like a champ.
Appreciate it, fellas.
Thank you. Are you fishing it this year?
Haven't signed up yet. Not sure.
Okay, so I'm 50. I'm 100% in, but if I make the final day, which if you look at my statistics, I have about 7% chance to make the final day there. So, but it's a chance. It's a spotted bass lake in Alabama.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a good chance there. If I make the final day, then Bart's going to have to find someone to fish with. But otherwise, I'm going to fly in Monday for the weekend for that. You can figure out if we both end up fishing it. I will let you decide if you would like a chance at retribution. It doesn't have to be a spicy chip. No permanent body art is my only rule.
No permanent body art.
Like no, you know what I mean? Like a Seth Fighter tattoo or something. That's out.
I have a buddy who I told if I ever made it to a classic, and this was back when I was like 15. I told him that if I ever made it to a classic, he would have to get my name tattooed on him. And then 6 years later, I made a classic.
Does he have your name tattooed on him?
He does not.
What?
So I'm going to publicly state his name so that the viewers know who this is. And his name is Lee Tao, but that's
Lee Tao.
Lee Tao. It's a call out. So
You should call me when that goes down, and then
live on BTL.
Yeah, for making the classic.
There you go.
I've always thought like after I won a major tournament, I want like a bass jumping out like on my back, like anatomically correct where my heart is.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
Like a little kind of abstract deal there.
I've seen the guys, they do the hook through the skin.
Yep.
So
there's
I like that.
I don't know if he's South America or a French dude, but he is head to toe tattoos. He does a bunch of fishing stuff. Like he's really good too. But like, I mean, like 90% of the face.
Wow.
Like the whole body. It's cool. If you're into that.
Fergus, can you go grab me a tissue? I've got like
you got some
chili
residue.
powder.
All right.
In my nose.
Let's wrap this up. Thank you for having me. Like I said, thank you to Omnia in the 2 years that I've been a part of Omnia, like literally 100% positive experience. And that comes from, I've had deals where I called Trevor and said, hey, like, what's the quickest I can get this here? And you're like, hey, I'll make sure this order goes out. I've also had orders like this past week where I never even contacted you guys. I ordered it just like any other person. And, you know, it comes through in the clutch just like it. And then also behind the scenes, one of the reasons why I was so pumped to work is you guys are not just, hey, we're going to sell online tackle and make as much. You guys have an entire team behind the scenes that works with the pro app, the app, all sorts of digital stuff, all sorts of stuff that's way above my head to make the fishing experience and the buying experience the best it can be to kind of create loyalty to that Omnia brand, which is something that's unique in this industry.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what the founders' vision was when they created Omnia, was not to be just an e-commerce platform. You know, we want to. They view Omnia more as a tech company. We have tons of information. We've got computer scientists, basically guys that are working behind the scenes to make sure this whole thing functions the way it's supposed to, with product recommendations, all the technology that goes into our website and the platform and everything like that. So a lot more than just an e-commerce platform, but definitely we do want to make sure that our customers are taken care of on that front as well.
And then the thing that I didn't realize last time until I left, and I think this is still correct, like if you're in the Minnesota area, you can order on Omnia. And then it's basically like what's that deal where you can like the food deal where you can like come in and pick it up.
Oh, in-store pickup.
Yeah, it's like in-store pickup.
Yep.
So you can order on Omnia. If you're in the area, you can stop by. It'll be right there in the lobby. You have like an area and you can come pick up your order.
That's correct. Yeah, we give the option to designate whether you want it shipped or in-store pickup. And if it's in-store pickup, our guys will get it. They'll go pick it out, put it in a box, and they've got it waiting for you right there in the front with your name on it. So at your leisure, you can come and just grab it.
All right. Anything else?
That's all I got, man.
All right. Let's see if I can use this to start a little exit music. Like I said, I'm scrolling up but scrolling down at the same time. All right. Thank you, Trevor. Appreciate it. We missed Polish Pete. Hopefully he's feeling better at home, and we'll be back in the soon. I'm sure I'll see him at the Classic. You guys will be at the Classic.
We will be there. So if you guys are there, come look for us. We might have a giveaway.
Ooh, a Classic giveaway. Stay tuned to BTL for that. And then Luke Lowy, thank you for coming in for the One Chip Challenge. Yeah, he's nowhere to be found right now.
He's hurting.
He is gone. But this has been another edition of BTL Bass Talk Live. I have an 11-hour drive tonight. When I get back, I'll have the schedule out for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I do know we have Uncle Frank on Thursday, some exciting stuff coming with that, and then a guide day episode on Friday. A little bit tough with anglers right now because I have that open coming up on Santee Cooper. As far as interviewing the guys who just got done with Santee Cooper, we'll give that till after Santee, and then the Elite Series this week, back-to-back weeks on Lake Fork. But I do know, and it's a little bit of a Minnesota theme, I believe either Tuesday or Wednesday, and I'll call him when I get home, a dude who I parked next to in Florida and then talked to at Washita, who I didn't even know listened to the show or would have any interest being on it, but is fascinating, a Minnetonka legend in Jim Moyna.
Oh, Jim Moyna.
Yeah.
Good
So like,
Jim
dude,
Moyna.
I was talking to him for like 45 minutes and he's like, you know, when are you going to get me on BTL? I was like, I didn't even know you knew what BTL was. He's like,
awesome.
yeah. And I was like, can you tell some of these awesome stories that you've been telling?
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, yeah, I'll get you on.
That's
So either Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, veteran angler Jim Moyna, he's fishing all 9 of the Elite Series EQs. So, all right, that's all we got. We will talk to everybody tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Thanks, Trevor, live from Omnia. That's all we got. See ya.